Hey YouTube, as the title says, we actually have new rankings for the new season Pokemon Go thanks to DracoViz. What they are they basically took over what Go Stadium was, or whatever they used to be called. It used to be the go-to content for Pokemon Go, and then they had like a scandal. So this has taken its place. Pokemon Go content, event schedules, top teams, data insights, and tournaments now all in one place. And what they did was they used the open source data from PVPOKE and just updated the numbers themselves and got Pokemon. So we're going to look at the rankings for the next season of Pokemon Go Battle League right now with assumptions on the energy boost that we're going to get and like energy and power and stuff like that we know of, and then energy boost that we may get. Also of note, yes, Rage Fist unnerfed. Rage Fist has been removed from the blog post, which means that it is no longer on the list of sort of banned or nerfed moves, which is great. Okay. Yeah, let's leave this a little bigger so we can see. Okay, so here is the top. Let me see if I can move it up a little bit because that's first. Yeah, they did 60. So we're gonna go through 60 lists here. We're gonna go over the Pokemon and the changes / not a lot of changes, but if you watch my video, so it's so funny because if you watch my video yesterday afternoon that I talked about, here's what's going to go up, here's what's going to go slightly down, and here's why, I nailed almost everything. I said Mandibuzz will go slightly down because of the electric. I said Diggersby will go up because of the fire punch and less counter users. I said Feraligatr would go down because of the slight electric boost. And I said they're not going to go down far. They're going to go down like 1 or 2. And here we are. Look at this. Clodsire. Corsola, Glaring Corsola, Primeape now back, basically around where it was previous season. Mandibuzz, Diggersby up a couple because the Fire Punch got buffed. Clodsire again with Stone Edge instead of Sledge Bomb. Gastrodon, I said Gastrodon is probably going to go up 1 or 2 as well. And there it is at 7. So Feraligatr at 8, slightly down because of the electric. Azumarill, slightly down, but still in the top 10. Carbink, non-Shadow Feraligatr, Carbink, Pangoro, Jumpluff, Marowak, and Dunsparce. And this is very, very expected, right? We did not change much. In fact, let me see if I can just bring up the current PVPOKE rankings. We'll have to do it right beside each other, but that's okay. Or like kind of look at it, right? So, right, Mandibuzz down a little, Feraligatr down a little. Actually, Gastrodon did not go down a little. It's about the 6 verse 7. Azumarill down 1, and then Diggersby up 1. Primeape, so Primeape actually got up quite a bit of bump, right? So it was 10 here, and it has jumped up to 3. So the question is, why? Let's just start with that. So why did Primeape go from 10 to 3? And my guess is because of the buffs and the indirect buffs. Well, I guess they're not indirect buffs to the normal typings anymore, but the buffs to Diggersby, which is now number 5, and I haven't seen where Bibrel, whatever however you pronounce it, Bibrel, the Pokemon that now got buffed is also normal typing. So I think with the couple normal typings there that got buffed, I think Corsola is going to be still prom, but at least you have super effective Rage Fist for it. And you still have generally good matchups against everything else that you already had good matchups in. That's why I think it got a slight bump. But the rest of it is the same. Let's go down 11 through 15 here. Dunsparce up 1. Malamar, Jumpluff. Like, we're looking very similar, and this should not be surprising. We expected it to be pretty similar. I said Sandslash should jump up a little bit. Let's see where it was on the old rankings. A Sandslash was at 23, slightly up to 19. Not surprising. Ice Punch got buffed. This was the recommended moveset that you used anyways. So it is now up to 19 versus 23. And then what do we got here? Stunfisk, Quagsire, Steelix. Notice that the Machamps are down a bit. And I think that, again, I don't think that's anything too surprising. If you have Primeape, you're probably using that. Steelix with Thunderfang. So here is the first one with a new move put in and one that a couple of you had mentioned in the chat. A lot of you had mentioned in the chat Steelix with Thunderfang. In limited cups, when it breaks out the Fang move, it is always trickier. And here it is sitting at 24 with Psychic Fangs and Crunch. So I think maybe why, personally, I think it gets a little bit of buff when, like, in your top 15, Thunderfang is electric, and it's still going to be resisted by all these ground Pokemon that are still dominating the meta, right? Clodsire, Diggersby, Gastrodon, Marowak. Let me go back to this one. Stunfisk. Thundershock got that much of a buff? Okay, we'll have to look at that in 1 second here. Again, we can't like actually look at the matchups because this is just their preview snapshot. But Thunderfang, with all the other water Pokemon, Azumarill, Feraligatr, stuff like that that are still in the top, gives it a little bit of a option. Plus, Mandibuzz is up there too, right? So being able to hit Super Effective with Thunderfang is an interesting one. Stunfisk up at 22, and Stunfisk is an interesting one because if you have not used it before, it has some bulk to it, but it hits so bad. It takes a lot of mud bombs and discharges to take out your opponent, and with 2 charge moves that are just like bad. And this is the thing, when you're using a Thundershock fast move, which is a very, very fast charging move, you want charge moves that are like nukes, right? That you can do really fast, that hit really hard. So think of your old Mudshot Hydro Cannon. Think of your other Thundershock users. You can go down to 29 Togedemaru. Thundershock, Wild Charge. You want those sort of nukes. This one has 2 moves that are just okay at best. Mud Bomb and Discharge. So whenever I used it, I did not love it. Now, where does it... The reason that I think it is up here, does the Thundershock make that much of a difference? I mean, I don't want to dismiss it outright because we have seen how much the 3 to 4 Poison Sting buff has done to Clodsire and Drapion. So going from 3 to 4 have risen those 2 substantially, and they feel extremely, extremely strong. So perhaps a 3 to 4 in Thundershock will make these Pokemon feel that much stronger. And I think the strength of this Pokemon is its ground electric typing, because you have your electric that can deal with your Feraligatr and your Azumarill, and at the same time you have your ground with Mud Bomb that you can spam Clodsire. So it's a nice little core breaker to a lot of these Pokemon in the top 15, right? Where they're either weak to ground, electric, ground on Carbink, while resisting like the rollouts on Dunsparce, resisting the because you're half ground, right? So, oops, what did I do? So I think that it is a very usable Pokemon. So I can see him so zoomed in. I don't know why. Let me just zoom out. Oh no. What did I do? I am making a mess of this. That's what I'm doing. Okay. I'll just have to go up and down to the list here if I can. So yeah, that is why Stunfisk has gone up. And then, you know, Bastiodon, Guzzlord, Licky, okay. Togedemaru. And it's the same thing. And, you know, I don't know about Togedemaru, and this is coming from someone who loves Togedemaru. And it's just because I'm interested to see where Morpeko lands here and want to see if he's on any of these pages here. Not on this one. And Electivire is up now with the Ice Punch buff as well. But no Morpeko on this one either. So the issue I'm having with Togedemaru is all the ground in this meta, right? The front page is still littered with your Marowaks and your Gastrodons and your Clodsires. that Thundershock and Wild Charge are resisted. So yes, you get buffed the Thundershock, but so what when you're against so many of those ground Pokemon that still dominate the meta? And at least with Stunfisk, you have other options here. So that's what I like about Stunfisk. I like at least the theory of Stunfisk better than I like the theory of Tojimaru. So we'll have to see it in action to see just how much this 3 to 4 buff really does or does not make a difference on these Pokemon. Machoke, Aurorus, Drapion, Gallade, Annihilate, Sandslash, Golurk, Registeel, again, Thunderfang, Superior, Walrein. So these are, I think, pretty similar to what you're probably going to see in here anyways, right? Steelix, Golurk, Walrein, Superior, right? So Sandslash, you're pretty much looking at the same 40 here. Hackmo, the Dragons, right? So not really any change here. And then your Dugong's at 46. Electivire. So Electivire is the one of the OG glass cannons, I think. So glassy. But now you have that buffed Thundershock, buffed Ice Punch as well. So Ice Punch was always the recommended moveset on it, and it was used as slash half coverage move for like the ground, half it was the only thing that was really a good option on this Pokemon. So having the Thundershock and Ice Punch buffed and having Nuke of a Wild Charge, if you're going to use this Pokemon, if you've used Morpeko, I mean, it's not this. I'm just trying to give you an example of like the glassiness of it and the hard hittingness of it. Like if you use Morpeko, it's that glassy and it's that hard hitting. So you need shields for this thing, but this thing can like nuke. But unlike Morpeko, this will not change to dark type. This is just straight electric. We'll have to see how it works out here. Quillfish, Samurott, Wiggly, Annihilate, Marowak's down here. Arctibax, I'm surprised Arctibax still has Dragon Breath, and I don't know if that is an overlook on their part or they ran the sims and this was just the better response. I personally thought that the Ice Fang would be the recommended moveset because it will have the same damage and energy as Dragon Breath, but it will have way more play against the top Pokemon. I guess maybe their only concern is and again, we have to see it in practice, the super effective that you will see against Clodsire and Mandibuzz and Diggersby may not offset the resistances that you will see on Feraligatr. No, you have to run Ice Fang. I think it's an oversight on their Sims analysis because Ice Fang against Clodsire, super effective, Mandibuzz, Diggersby, Jumpluff, and Marowak in the top here, all super effective, and it's not like Dragon Breath is doing anything against these top Pokemon anyways. So I think that it's just better to run Ice Fang. That's my personal opinion, but we'll have to see it in action, and maybe PVPOKE when they update will have that in their top there. Miltank, Rolda, Doniphan, and that is all they have in the top 60. Okay, so very, very, very similar. We can see in the first rankings here. Let's just go back to this list to see if there's like something that like completely fell off. I doubt that it has. And obviously in the top 60, we did not see Bibarel or Starmie. I did not expect Starmie to be in there. I thought Bibarel may jump into the top 60. But unless I just missed it, it does not look like it is in the top. Does not look like it's in the top 60 here. So my guess is that it's maybe just sitting like right around like 70 to 75 probably is my guess. So what does this mean for next season? It means that you have a lot of teams that will still work in this meta. Did I just make this? I guess I could have just done that. I think you have a lot of teams that still work from the previous season in this meta. I think that I'm trying to think about my analysis yesterday. My analysis yesterday was under the assumption that Rage Fist was nerfed, and if Rage Fist was nerfed, we did not have fighters, so you would get a bump in Diggersby and Dunsparce and stuff. That's not the case anymore. Karate Chop, Rage Fist, close combat user, back on the market here. And I think Primeape is the number one fighter in this meta. I would probably use it over Pangoro myself. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a Pangoro, but I would still probably use a Primeape if I had one. Yeah, I honestly, the only thing that I'm back to is we're just gonna have to see. This list has only two things that are really, really jumping out at me. The top 15 list, all this 1,000,000% expected. And again, go back to my video yesterday. I think I called the slight ups and downs almost perfectly on this list. I said this will go up 1 or 2, this will go down 1 or 2, and that's basically what happened on the front end here. The first big one here is the Thundershock Stunfisk at 22, and I'll jump over Steelix for a second because the first thing on this list is the electrics, right? You have Stunfisk at 22, Togedemaru at 29, and then you have your Electivire at 47. And that is a lot of electric for a typing that has generally been terrible in the Great League meta, not just last season, but for like the majority of the GBL seasons that have been played. Electric has really never been good, except for Lantern. And Lantern kind of gets by because it was half water, and water had dominated the meta for so long, and it was so good. And that's what made it super strong, is more the water as opposed to, I mean, it was the duo typing that made it super strong, right? So I guess you need to outweigh a couple things. So what is electric resisted by? The ground is the obvious one because ground it double resists, and there's a lot of ground on the top here. It is also resisted by grass. Now, the first grass on this list is Jumpluff, which is half flying, so that will mean it is neutral. And then you're not seeing a superior until 41. And that's basically the only grass you're going to see. So not a lot of grass resisting it, a lot of ground resisting it, and then dragons. Dragon also resists the electric. And you do have a few of those dragons on page 3 and 4 here with Gudra, Hakmo at 44, 45, and then Arctibax, which again, I think Arctibax with Ice Fang is going to be ranked higher than those other dragons, in my opinion. So those are your main resistances you need to worry about. At the same time, you know, outside of all that, in neutral situations, it hits really hard. And in super effective situations, it's going to one-shot a lot of these water Pokemon with these wild charges and stuff. Like you wild charge Togedemaru. See, Stunfisk? No. Stunfisk will not one-shot a Dugong or anything. Togedemaru, on the other hand, will one-shot a Dugong with wild charge, and so will Electivire. So these Togedemaru and Electivire will play very, very different than Stunfisk will play. I do think Stunfisk will have more play than the other two. I'm just questioning how much the other two will have play. I mean, you could just cover your ground weakness with two. You could, like, if you're going to run these electric Pokemon, just have two weaknesses for all the ground that is out there. And then the second thing, the big thing on this list, is the Thunder Fang Steelix. So if we go to just the current PVPOKE, and we are going to up Thunder Fang to the same. Here's the thing. It's a 2-turn move, and someone rightly pointed out, I was like, oh, if it goes up to 3 energy, it's got this much. If it goes up to 3.33, because that's what the other thing is, it's like, no, you can't do that. It's a 2-turn move. Correct. So 3 energy per turn Thunderfang, which is what I expect, would still be lower damage per energy than the Dragon Tail and the same energy per turn. So why, with that in mind, are they still saying Thunderfang above Dragon Tail? Unless they're thinking that grounds are going to go slightly away, which I do not see that happening. You did not buff. You buff. Sorry, you're seeing my thought process in action. I said, why would ground go away when you did not buff the counters to ground hard enough? And then I just took a moment to think. I'm like, did you not? You're now adding Starmie. I think that's gonna be more niche. Bibarel, which will be strong. And ice punches everywhere got buffed. So you do have some answers for ground now. So maybe we see slightly less ground, which means Thunderfang against your staples of Azumarill, Mandibuzz, and Feraligatr is better than Dragon Tail. And in fact, Thunderfang will hit super effective against Azumarill, while Dragon Tail will be resisted. So maybe when you do the sims against like the top 15 Pokemon, even though Thunderfang would be same energy, less damage, it probably sims better against the top 15, and that's why that's the recommended moveset. That is my thought process. That's probably why it is that way. We'll have to see it in action there. But again, I forgot the fourth dragon, Guzzlord, at 26, right? So there are 4 dragons in the top 50. So you should still see some of those where Thunderfang would be resisted. Anyways, I think this list looks very expected. We knew that with slight buffs to punches, slight buffs to fangs, only like 2 or 3 Pokemon with new moves, we knew that the ups and downs would not be a lot. And then I thought it would change more if they did actually nerf Rage Fist, but they decided to pull that back. I've got a theory. My belief, knowing how Niantic just likes to screw people, is they want you to go and grind the community day in December. And if they nerfed Rage Fist, there is no reason for you to go grind the December community day. So they keep Rage Fist boosted for one more season, 3 months, and then if they really wanted to still do it, they can do it in February after you've done the community day in December, because that's a 2-day event in December where it encapsulates the last like 1 or 2 years of community days. So that's my guess. They don't want to nerf it ahead of a 2-day community day at the end of December. So we'll see what happens next season, but that's just my like glass half empty look at this at Niantic. Anyways, okay, that's enough talking and rambling. Those are my thoughts. Those are the rankings. Let me know in your comments below. I don't know why I'm so happy that I like called this all correctly. Like the Mandibuzz down 1 or 2, the Diggersby up 1 or 2, the Feraligatr down 1 or 2. Like I called all those perfectly in the video yesterday. So it's nice to see that like my thought process is pretty sound, and that's why like now I'm just gonna pat myself on the back for a minute here. You know, I'm never gonna be the most I've seen the comments on Facebook and here. I'm never gonna be the most exciting person. I'm never gonna be the best battler, but I got a pretty damn good read on the meta and what makes a Pokemon good or not, and whether it is overhyped or underhyped and where it should be in the rankings. And I think that my analysis yesterday, even without the rankings, that kind of correctly predicted a lot of this stuff, just shows that. So go me. Anyways, that is it. Let me know below your thoughts on the meta. Whether you, yeah, let me know specifically about the ones that I talked about there. The electric types, the Thunderfang on Steelix, and the 2 Pokemon that are getting all the new moves that are not on this list yet. Let me know your thoughts below. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.